At this moment, I'd like to take a moment of silence for the retired police captain, Mr. John Lalaya.
Laraya.
Yeah, Lalaya. He passed away last week. He also served as a volunteer firefighter at our town, so we honor his long-time community services, and let's take a moment of silence all together. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, could we have a moment of silence
Yeah.
for the year of, for the attack on Israel, which was a year ago.
You mean the Israel? Year ago?
October 7th.
Okay, that is, let's all together for the Israel that is attack happened last year, exactly for all the people. Okay, let's take a moment of silence all together. Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Port, could you please have a roll call, please?
Mayor Park,
Yes.
Member Liang,
Yes. Yeah.
Member Begets,
Yes.
Member Kim, Member Di Gregorio,
Hold on, is that attendance?
yes.
Yeah.
Here, yeah,
Member
it's,
Simon?
you can get on
Yeah.
Zoom if you want.
Member Luciano.
But it's in person, yeah, we're all the
Yeah.
city council.
Only
Bye.
except Mr. Kim.
Yeah, Ms. Kim, I just sent him a message.
Okay, thank you. And clerk, would you read the statement of compliance?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, PL 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this public meeting through a legal notice published in the record, posted on the Borough Bulletin and on the Borough website.
Thank you. And then we're going to get the all department head report. But Jerry, would you mention in advance about the police department and the fire department? The last, big fire happened, and we are not ready to give them some.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the first. Okay.
So what the mayor is, excuse me. What the mayor is referencing is that at the November 13th meeting, we will be honoring several police officers and several firefighters. The police officers, which will be honored tomorrow evening, responded to an incident on June 14 at about 5:30 p.m. outside or near CNBC offices. Those police officers were Detective Lieutenant Totten, Sergeant Flannelly, Police Officer Romes, and also a Palisades Interstate Parkway Police Officer, Sergeant Clancy, responded to the incident where a 30-year-old victim had to be transported by ambulance to Hackensack. And she was stabbed, I believe, 5 times. In addition to that, the fire department is not available this evening. They have committed to doing some community work. The September is a busy month for the fire department. And so I'm sorry, October is the fire safety demonstration where they do that with the local children. And so on November 13th, we'll be honoring firefighters as well, based on the list that I received from the Chief Nikau.
Okay. Also, you don't forget the Cambridge, the fire happened at that time. Our firefighter couple, volunteer did a great job.
Yeah.
So we're gonna honor them, right?
Yep, we will.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's it.
And that'll be at the next meeting, Mayor.
Next meeting. Okay. November meeting. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. And
I
okay.
see Councilmember Kim on Zoom right now.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
My
got it.
apologies, Mayor
Okay.
and Council.
We hear you just perfectly. You look good on TV.
Thank you, Councilman.
Okay. Let's start the department report first. Would you come out, the police department, Mr. Hankerman, come out and to present us?
Which one's working? This one?
I think they're both working.
Oh.
Take your pick.
I'll take the small one. This one's for you. Good evening, everybody. Mayor, you already mentioned it, but I'd like to also just recognize the passing of Captain Lariah. He served with the police department for 33 years. His services were held yesterday, and we gave him a very nice send-off with the help of the fire department, the Englewood Police Department, and the Fort Lee Department, Fort Lee Police Department. Again, you mentioned the award tomorrow night for Lieutenant Totten, Sergeant Flannelly, and Officer Ramis, as well as Sergeant Clancy from the PIP. I look forward to sharing the evening with you. It'll be a very nice evening, and I think you'd be very impressed with the ceremony. That was a job well done by all and well-deserved award for all of them. On September 15th, there was a house fire in town. Pretty significant damage done to the house. Fortunately, no injuries other than one minor injury to one of my police officers. He sustained cut to his hand and needed some internal and external stitches to close his wound. That was a result of broken glass. My officers on scene did a tremendous job, as did the Englewood Cliffs Fire Department in salvaging what they could from the structure. I have to also thank Tenafly Police Department and the PIP Police Department, who assisted us with traffic control during that event. A couple days after that, on the 17th, I'm happy to report that we arrested another armed robbery suspect. That was a co-conspirator from the armed robbery that took place in March. That actor was located in New York City. And that was a collaborative effort with my detective bureau, as well as the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office and the FBI. So both of the co-conspirators in that armed robbery are now in custody. A lot of paving has been done in town. A lot has been accomplished on that front. It's going smoothly from a police department and traffic standpoint. I'll let the DPW super speak on the specifics, but from what I can tell from my office, that project is going well. Englewood Cliffs Day is scheduled for October 18th. I'm sure the recreation director will give you the details on that, but just want you to know the police department will be attending that event. Lastly, the promotional examinations for the rank of lieutenant and sergeant were conducted on September 26th and 27th, and I will be furnishing the results of that exam to the Public Safety Committee when the tabulations are all complete. That's all I have for my report.
Okay, thank you. Any question? Okay, thank you. And DPW, Mark Neville, would you come out?
Good evening, everybody. Couple of things this evening. Hello. First of all, my thoughts and prayers to the Lariah family at this time. It was very tough. I know Captain was a great man. Also regarding the police officers tomorrow night, I know them all. Probably some of the best cops you're going to find on the East Coast. All right. Congratulations to them all as well. I'm going to start with something kind of out of the report, a little regard to safety. I'm just gonna need everybody's help and assistance out in the street. We're putting debris at the curbside. This morning we had an employee picking up vegetation. Upon loading into the truck, a spackle knife buried in grass jumped out of the barrel and cut him. About a 4-inch gash in his chest. Not doing anything wrong, doing what he's told to do when he's told to do it. So I just need a little cooperation regarding what's put on the curb as far as what we pick up. We'll help anybody in any way. Everybody knows me a long time. Just need a little cooperation to keep employees safe. With that, next door to me, the PSE&G substation work continues. The facades are on the building. They're looking to get that enclosed, obviously, by the time winter time occurs. As Chief mentioned, mid-September, the Riverside Co-op road improvement program took place. That's program, I think, went fairly well. That's everything between Lincrest and Fairview and in between. Everything was milled and paved. I have a couple loose ends, that I'm talking to residents on regarding driveway aprons, but otherwise, I think went real well. I'm working with PSE&G. They're looking to pave the gas main restoration work. Section 1, Jerry, is, end of October. Phase 1, end of October. Our big event that we've been talking about, our recycling events, October 26th. It's a food drive, is included this time. We're doing e-waste, coats, your regular shredding, cardboard, and now we've had the food drive. All the proceeds will go to the food pantry down in Englewood, Office of Concern. Cold cereal and pasta is what is suggested. Of course, all food is welcome, but that's what is suggested. The company of Vortex is in town doing storm drain jetting and video. Moving along, we have 3 sections done so far. Right now they're finishing the East Bayview section and then moving on to the next section, which is Irving, 4648 Irving. About 3 days, 3+. They have probably another hour or 2 in the morning, and then I'm gonna move. Veterans Park, the project nears completion. We're doing some punch list items. I did submit the landscape plan to the park committee. I'll let them discuss further on the schedule. And the reason I mention it is the only, not the only, but one of the significant pieces in the landscape plan was to, and I just want to be clear, to move, not remove, the display of the veteran sign. I thought we can move it into the park a little more, landscape around it and make it a little more accommodating for the park. But I just want to make it clear, it's just to move it, not remove it. Okay. Leaf collection starts in the next 2 weeks. Despite the actual flooding over this past summer, I'm trying to be a little proactive, and I have crews out this week and next week because I know some of the eager parties have dumped grass and small piles in the street already, and we're trying to get that out of the way before any significant rainfall. So we're kind of the prerequisite to a leaf season, if you will. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm saying, just I know it doesn't on the calendar doesn't start till mid-October, but we're just trying to stay ahead of the curve a little bit. Okay. Last, that's my report, Mayor. I just want to have something small. On a personal note, I just like to issue a full thank you to the borough. And I have to mention my name, Mayor Joseph Parisi Sr., Mayor Joseph Parisi Jr., Mayor Kranjak, and now yourself, Mayor Park, and all the council before, past, present, and what is future. Last Friday, October 4th, I recorded my 25 years of employment with the borough.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Very, very thankful and appreciative.
Sorry, we didn't know that. No, nobody informed us, so nobody. Okay.
Say thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your hard work always. You are very hard. I appreciate.
Okay.
Okay.
No. No. Okay. That's my point.
Okay.
Last question.
Eye-opening kind of discovery so far, what we've.
Get
cameras
it.
or
We have a
how many
couple.
catch basins that we have that are having illegal pipes going into.
We do have some pipes, induced, of course. We do have some back pitch pipes that are causing water from not leaving fast enough. We do have some, which causes sediment to build up. We have some of that. We have one instance where we have a 12-inch pipe, and somewhere along the line, someone cut in a 10-inch pipe and went back to 12-inch. So it causes bottleneck. So it's somewhere along. Nothing. I mean, nothing.
No full blockages.
No, nothing but sediment. I'm not going to tell you it's.
I just
but
wanted
it's,
to-
yeah.
We did find some pipes from property owners that should not be in that system.
Right.
Those will be addressed individually. Bayview had some sediment.
Sediment,
right?
yeah.
Had sediment in there.
That's why it's lagging.
And some pretty large roots, which the machine that we're using tears that up and removes that, flushes that out. So we remove those kinds of blockages as we can and go through it.
It's quite an impressive setup they have. I love seeing the camera crawling through, and then they looked at every joint that was inspected. And I presume this is all on videotape and every foot is mapped, which is very useful. The information is, yeah.
The pipe going down as well as every joint, they turn the camera
Yeah.
around.
I was getting dizzy watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question, and congratulations, 25 years. The leaf pickup. I know last year it was problematic. Do we, and I may have missed the email, do we have the vacuum truck or did we
Not as
purchase?
of yet, as yet.
When are we gonna get the vacuum truck?
We're looking for them. They're hard to find right now, but.
They're hard to find. Can we borrow one from possibly another town?
Possibly, we're looking into it, right, absolutely.
Okay,
Mhm.
I mean, I know the claw does the main,
Right,
but certainly the cleanup and the
Yeah.
trim work is done by the vacuum.
right.
And that's that, if you don't do the trim work, it's all gonna go down the sewers then. So I think it's crucial that we, so
Mhm.
are we gonna have it before?
I certainly hope so. Certainly hope so.
We're trying our best,
Certainly.
we really are.
Okay,
We couldn't order it until we had the ordinance, and now we're struggling a little bit. We've been to Turfco, we've been to Hart, we're looking to see if we can't get one dropped.
can we rent a truck? They don't rent them. Hmm.
Wear and tear doesn't,
It's not
it's not
yeah.
conducive to renting.
Okay, well, I'm concerned.
Okay, thank you. Jerry, you gonna add on more the fire department,
Yeah.
anything? Okay, please.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
Before you go forward, when is the notification of the recycling event going into the kids' backpacks? Did you
Oh.
determine when?
No, I think Mark was going to, did you talk to the district or Giuliano when we're gonna put the backpack, we're gonna put the notice
The
in the backpack
notice to go.
for recycling?
Oh,
Did we get a date? I didn't get a date.
I talked to the school today. Fran printed them, they're on her, pick them up tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
They'll
they
be out
printed
by,
out today.
about by the weekend. So
Okay.
tomorrow's what? Tomorrow's Wednesday?
It's up on the website,
Yeah,
because I noticed some people already asking,
yeah,
and rather than
It went out.
respond, I waited for it.
So I'm gonna drop it to the school tomorrow and I give
Yeah.
them 24 to 40 hours to get them. out.
Okay.
yeah, it'll be over the week, the long weekend.
Okay.
Last question, the vacuum, how much does it cost, more or less?
$95,000.
95,000? Okay,
It's a, we, I don't know if we want to buy used ones, but yeah.
well, right now, any vacuum truck would be valuable for us to have. And all the work that we're doing to clean up the sewers, it's important that we sweep up the mess after the claw is done with it. So I'm not joking around. And if there is a used one available, we use the used one.
Okay.
Or we rent it or whatever, or buy it and sell it again. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor, so the fire chief provided me and you and others the report. So they had a pre-scheduled, as I mentioned before, they had a pre-scheduled fire safety demonstration for the local school kids. And they're not available for this evening. The fire chiefs wrote that September was a busy month for the fire department with approximately 30 calls for service, including a second alarm fire on Cambridge Place, 2 car fires, and 2 high-angle rescue calls on the Palisades. The chief and the assistant chief would like to praise the members of the fire department for their response to the house fire, as it was challenging and dangerous basement fire, which fortunately they were able to contain the 2 to 3 rooms in the basement and minimize damage to the rest of the house. They also would like to thank the members who successfully rescued the stranded individual on the cliffs in Palisades Park. That was an extended operation very early in the morning under extreme difficult conditions, and they were able to successfully rescue 2 individuals without injury. As I mentioned earlier as well, October is Fire Prevention Month, and encourage everyone to check their website, the fire department's website, and social media posts. Additionally, the fire department will be visiting all local schools and daycare centers to teach the young ones about the importance of fire safety, and department will be participating in Inglewood Cliffs Day later this month. Fire department officers and members would also like to thank the mayor and council for introducing the ordinance for the funding of the new ladder truck for the department at tonight's meeting. It is an urgently needed tool for the department and will greatly enhance the safety of the residents and ensure that the members have the most modern, reliable, and environmentally efficient tools at their disposal to serve the community. Lastly, the chief wrote, "Is with deep regret that we lost a longtime member, John Laraya, at the age of 93, God bless him, this past week. John joined the fire department in 1954 and still attended meetings as recently as a couple of years ago. John was also a retired captain in the Inglewood Cliffs Police Department, a great person to learn and take inspiration from, and will be missed by the entire department." That's it for the fire department.
Thank you all. Yeah.
Just wanted- They're not collecting anything, but just to be clear. I know you said they made a rescue in Palisades Park.
But yes,
But I want the public to know that it's Palisades, it's a state
It's
park.
the
that
park,
they
yeah,
did.
right, yeah.
It wasn't in Palisades
It
Park,
didn't sound
so
right.
it wasn't- I just thought, just want to make sure that the public wasn't. thinking
Palisades
something
State
different.
Park.
Okay. Okay, thank you for all the hard work and any comment?
Is there another report to go? Or let me look
I
here.
have my
Uh,
report.
Okay,
no, the recreation department, Mark Sang, would you come out? Yes, come out first.
while Mark is coming up, may I ask if the council would consent to have Ms. Sabari report on the park after? After, yes?
Put on here,
you-
after,
Oh.
administrator, then, I will give her.
Got it, okay, sorry,
Don't worry about
thank you.
it. Okay,
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council.
okay.
First, I'd like to congratulate Mark Neville on your work anniversary. God bless you for your hard work, dedication, and service, and especially your commitment to this town.
Why don't you take it off?
Put that up. now.
You use the other one.
Yeah, maybe this work.
Yeah, they both work.
Wonderful. All right, great. Thanks very much.
Tip it up to you and you're fine.
Awesome. Okay, great. Okay, so in terms of recreation, we have a number of programs that are in flight for the fall, right? They'd include soccer, adult basketball, girls volleyball program, as well as the senior exercise classes. We are planning to introduce 2 new programs for our fall. First, they will be the pickleball program that will be taking place at the upper school gym starting next week. Additionally, we will also be having the basketball clinics as well for the youth. For the basketball clinics, they will be taking place at the Holy Name School of Nursing, which is going to be a new venue for us. They've been very accommodating. We are going to be treating this as a pilot to ensure that obviously it works for the school and obviously works for our residents and for our programs. So we are kind of excited about having that as an option. The great news is that they've been very flexible, accommodating, and will not be passing any security charges through to the borough. Right. So, which is awesome.
Yep.
All right. I mentioned girls volleyball. I believe the borough administrator covered this last month, but this is the first time that this girls volleyball has been participating in a middle school program. This program is sponsored and managed by the rec department, unlike other towns. Other towns are typically participating through their schools and their administration and their athletic directors, right? We know this is a different town just because we don't have a high school, but that's always been a gap for these programs, not just volleyball, wrestling, track and field, and others where we have gaps. And unfortunately puts our kids at a disadvantage if they're not playing in a club when they get to high school. The issue here is what that was brought to my attention recently when we had a couple of games is the netting system that the school has. We've been informed by the officials that come to ref the games that they are not up to industry standard and they are a safety issue. At the very minimum, they've asked us to provide padding to the poles. So we are in the process of securing padding to make sure that it's safe for all of our kids and then for any of the neighboring towns that are coming to visit to play against us. But in general, the equipment itself is something that we are looking at. I've reached out to the school about this particular issue, about potentially replacing the equipment or sharing the cost with the equipment. They've responded they have no interest. funding any cost for this equipment. So we are potentially looking at options in terms of how to make this cost effective and potentially continue with this program that is still growing within our town and for our girls. Couple of other programs that we are planning as we are approaching the winter season is the basketball program, as well as, which will be a new program, which will be cheerleading for our younger girls. That is kind of in the plan. And it's certainly one of the biggest, basketball is one of the biggest activities in recreation for the winter season. It is our plan to use the upper gym school where we can, and if there's an overflow, potentially the Holy Name School of Nursing can potentially be an option. All right. Lastly, as Chief Henkelman mentioned, we have Englewood Cliffs Day that is currently scheduled for the 18th of October. Rain date will be October 25th. The hours for this event will be at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and there will be a flyer, hopefully within the next 24 hours, that will be communicated to the public around this particular event. In the last couple of years where we've had Englewood Cliffs Day, we had, in addition to food that had been provided and donated, it was essentially Movie Under the Stars. And given the fact that Englewood Cliffs Day is a little bit later this year, the days are getting shorter. We have decided to change it this year where it'll be a more of a fall theme. So in lieu of Movie Under the Stars, the plan is to provide bouncy houses, a corn maze, cotton candy, caricature artists, face painting, that sort of thing. The event will be taking place on the upper school fields. We do have approval for this event as well as for the rain date, and we all are looking forward to it. And of course, everybody's invited. I'll pause there if there's any questions or comments.
Senator, you mentioned the location of Holy Name Nursing School or something. Where is that located?
Hudson Terrace, right off of Hudson Terrace, where the
It's at the St. Peter's?
correct St. Peter's is no longer there.
Thank you.
Anyone, any question? Okay, thank you.
I
Mr.
have
Speaker.
I have a question, Jameer. I'm sorry. If that's okay. Talking about the girls volleyball program, how many participants are there? And other than depending on the netting pools, what other equipment is required, I guess, or hope for?
Yeah, so great question, Councilman Kim. At this time, we have 12 girls that are registered for this program. Again, this middle school is typically a 7th and 8th grade program that we see from other schools that are participating. Here at Englewood Cliffs, we've expanded that to welcome other girls that were interested, whether they were in 6th or 5th. We are very much looking towards really kind of developing these girls so that it can be a strong program for years to come. The netting system, there's essentially two options. One is a freestanding system that you kind of roll out on the court, except that these systems are extremely expensive. They go anywhere from $8,000 and upwards. But the challenge with that, not just cost, is storage. We do not have storage at the school. They don't want us to store even ice packs at the school. The other option is, which is the more cost-effective and really the standard option that are used at other schools, it's a pole system. So to have the poles to be inserted into the gym floor will require for holes to be drilled into the gym floor. That's ultimately what we are going to be presenting to the Board of Ed as to whether or not they would be open to this agreement. However, they've indicated that any costs associated with this would need to be borne by the bond.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Councilman Kim done.
Yes, I am.
Perfect, thank you.
Do you have anything organized for Halloween?
So great question. So for Halloween, I met with a committee of mothers yesterday, and talked through about potentially, marketing Englewood Cliffs Day as a Halloween theme. They were, they were not agreeable with that, as an option. So what they've shared with me is they would like to bring back an old tradition where they would like to do, close down the street for Irving Ave and have trick-or-treaters congregate there and go up and down the street. The idea also was to potentially have, as they were as they were getting their candy, to ultimately carry over into the new park. Hopefully it will be open by then. And there we will have a DJ, parents lined up with tents or tables to be able to provide kids with candy. That is the latest and greatest. I've recapped that conversation late yesterday, and Chief Henkelman will be discussing that in a closed session as to whether we decide to move forward with that event.
It's just evolved over the years. To Irving Avenue being, it just happened, but we always have vehicular traffic there, and it presents an option, because there are little kids running up and down.
Correct, hence the reason why Chief
Yeah.
Henkelman will.
Okay, let's talk about that with closed session.
Yep.
Thank you. We have a concern. No, we have the other Jerry and the park committee. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Jerry, now your turn.
Thanks, Marco. Thank you, Mayor. So as Mark alluded to, the sewer investigation is moving into the next phase. I'm sorry, the sewer investigation is separate. Earlier today, I had a meeting with engineers at Boswell, and they finally have the permit in hand to investigate 9W. And so they will be doing that on Saturday. We also discussed breaking up the potential repairs that have already been determined that need to be made into multiple phases. So we're working on that right now. And that obviously started last year, and we're just trying to wrap it up now this year. Regarding flood mitigation, Mark mentioned Bayview Avenue. They've been there for a little while. They also completed Maple Street in Cambridge, Chestnut, I guess it's Maple Avenue. And then they've also worked on South Virginia. They do have other locations. We do have them right now for an additional 5 days. But there comes a timing issue where landscapers and residents start putting leaves out on the street, and I'm not sure if it's probably a good idea to continuously vacuum basins that are probably going to get impacted through this leaf season. So I'll be bringing them back in sometimes towards the end of November to continue on with all the other areas, okay? And I'll discuss that a little bit more at the November meeting. Neglia continues to work on the GIS mapping and the existing storm drain structures. Our current map that we've used for many years was from 1977, so it's about time. Neglia has also been authorized to move forward for the borough-wide investigation of all the catch basins and lines. And next month, I will bring for council's consideration an effort to examine the impact, the negative impact from Flat Rock Brook and the Pershing Pond, and see what we can do with that. That's an involved process. It involves the county, involves the NJDEP. So we'll be looking at that to see if there's the initial price quote is pretty high. So we have to kind of see if that's going to work out. As Mark mentioned, leaf pickup supposed to start on the 15th, which is a week from today. The leaves are still green, but what we find is that landscapers are cutting grass and putting grass into the street, and that's not appropriate. So we're going around gently reminding people that they can't do that. The landscapers were surprised that I speak Spanish. So as I drive around doing trees, we will have a conversation. And then the November 13th meeting, I do have a request from the Department of OEM to do awareness training for the elected officials. Maybe we could get together a half hour, 45 minutes before the meeting to do that training. I think it's rather important, and I think maybe if we discussed OEM and maybe some of the processes of Office of Emergency Management, then I think we'll be able to, as a council, better understand a little bit about what happens and what should happen regarding roles and things of that nature. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about that on emails. That's the end of my report, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Have a question?
I have just a quick question, and I wanted to ask if we could, and I guess you've already taken care of that, right? For Ms. Sabari to speak about the park. Do we have any topographical 3D, nothing in the borough on file?
2D, not 3D.
We don't have any 3D topographical survey of the town? No,
Not that I've seen, no.
okay,
I've seen 2Ds, multiple versions,
okay,
where, catch basins are, those kinds of things.
okay, all right,
Not much else. All right.
well, thanks.
Okay, Park Committee, Ms. Deborah Summer. Okay, come out. Okay,
Hi, good evening.
good
Happy New
evening.
Year.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Veterans Park, which I wish I could stand here and say that we have an opening date, but we don't. What we're dealing with currently is a repair that needs to be made to the poured rubber surface. The safety inspectors came out. Some things needed to be moved around. They're called stepping stones. They're part of the playground. They were moved and they fixed the poured rubber, but it's not up to my satisfaction or anybody on the committees, because you can actually see it looks like a patch job, and we've just paid $200,000 for this poured rubber. So they're going to make an adjustment to the design and put a path that would cover this patchwork, so it would look like part of the design, and it will be nicer and look better. But in the meantime, it's holding up the opening of the playground because we're waiting for a date from the contractor. I mean, I'm on this every single day. Now, most of you have seen these emails because somehow or another, you've all been bothered with this. I'm sorry about that. The purpose of the committee is so you don't have to do that, but you've seen what's been going on. We're trying to get it done. So I don't have a date for you yet. We are pushing for the weekend. And if the contractor can't do it until the following week, perhaps we can open up for the weekend and close down for a day or two to do the work the following week. I'm not sure. We're playing with whether that can be done.
Safe?
Oh, it's safe. It's safe the way it is. It's just looks
No,
like
if you
this.
do the repair.
Yeah. No,
leave it
well,
open.
if we don't do the repair, the replacement for what we're looking to do, it's safe. We could open it up the way it exists today. It's just, again, we paid $200,000 for poured rubber and it looks like a patch job. So the cost of that is being borne by Gallon and the playground equipment company, because it was their error. We also have an issue with the basketball courts, because the trees are, all the acorns are falling down onto the basketball court. So they need to be trimmed back. Mark is aware of it. He's meeting with Reliable tomorrow. Hopefully that will get done this week, because you really can't open up those basketball courts without having that taken care of, because they'll trip and fall. They're just all over the place. So those two things have to happen in order for us to open up the basketball courts or the playground. We are looking into landscape architects. Part of our budget included doing some landscaping work between the playground and the basketball courts. We're working with Mark on that. We'll give you more information once we have more information. Just to beautify it, but also be aware of storm issues and how we can mitigate that. We do have a sign up, like I said, the safety inspector has signed off on where the equipment was moved to. So we're good with that. We don't have to wait for another inspection. Yeah, I know there's a resolution being presented today by David allowing Jerry to proceed with change orders going forward that are 10,000 or less. The purpose of this is to make sure the projects stay in line with our timetables. As of today, the only change orders we have had that deviated from the plans had to do with the flood. Had nothing to do with the budget being off, it all had to do with the flood, which is not something that the park committee or our budget could have taken into account. I'd also like to clarify the change order that's being submitted today also for a change in paint color. This committee, I should say this committee myself, when I went to the park, they were painting the basketball courts and it was the wrong color blue. Basically, Boswell had presented to the committee a rendering that had a specific color blue that we signed off on. Evidently, that blue that was put on the drawings as light blue was not what was in the rendering, so it had to be redone. They look beautiful now. They've been done with the right color, and it looks great. It's not Gallen's fault. He needs to get a change order. So I really, and there is no two options because we don't need the paint. Gallen has already submitted that paint back and we did a restocking charge. So the change order incorporates that we have to pay a restocking charge to do that. Like I said, I don't want to point fingers, but it's definitely not the committee's fault because it's not a color we signed off.
It happens.
It happens, things happen. Gallen shouldn't be penalized for it, nor should anybody here. It happened. I personally, I put it on Boswell, but you guys can do as you please with that. The only other thing is the tennis courts at Whitty. Based on the discovery that CNBC will not be signing more than a 1-year extension on a lease that currently gives them a 6-month cancellation period anyway. It is the committee's opinion that we not move forward with any major renovations in that court until this council can figure out how they're gonna deal with that, because it's a lot of money. What we suggest is we're gonna go in and do what we originally suggested, which was to paint the lines. I think if we had a budget for $7,500 to put pickleball lines on the current tennis courts, not a big expense, and it won't be as attractive as changing everything, but it will accommodate the purpose. I mean, I personally thought it was part of the buffer zone, so I really don't understand why it would be an issue. But I think this is something that you guys will have to take up with the planning board, look at what agreements were made with CNBC and the prior owner, because I think this dates back to prior to CNBC. Pickleball at Veterans Park, I would imagine we'll wait until the spring. But it's up to Marco and the rec department and his council, how you move forward. We will be ordering removable nets so that it can be played, but somebody is going to have to come up with a schedule as to which days pickleball will be played and what times the park will be closed to basketball in order to accommodate pickleball. You can't play both at the same time. So that's it for me. Does anybody have any questions?
Anybody, any question? Okay,
Whitty is moving right along, and it's scheduled for March of 2025. It looks like it's going to be sooner than that, but I'm not going to put that out there because let's just say March of 2025 is looking really, really good. So, and that's moving along.
The benches,
The benches are, I spoke to Mark earlier today. He finally got that clarified with Bernie that we could take 4 of the benches from Whitty Field that are just sitting there waiting for installation and put them at the playground.
Gallen will assemble them. and install them.
Gallen will install them. That's part of his contract.
Okay, good.
It's not part of his contract to go and take the benches from Whitty Field.
Okay,
So Mark is coordinating with Land Tech to get those benches. And I believe, Jerry, that you've ordered the equipment for Whitty Field.
Yes.
So somehow or another, didn't get ordered, but that was probably on Bernie because Jerry takes his direction from Bernie, so he didn't get the order for the parks. So.
All right,
Did
so
you make
that's-
any determination what to do with the markers?
Which marker?
The tree markers.
Yeah, we did that at, God, how long ago was it? At that meeting where we were gonna put them going into the entrance from Floyd Street on two sides of the path going into. the park.
I didn't know that that was written in stone, actually.
Well, I thought it was something that, nothing's written in stone. If you don't
No,
like
I
that
didn't,
idea, we
I
can go
just
back
know
and
that that's what.
do something else.
I know.
But I mean, that, this way, there's really nothing else to do with them to try to plant them all around the park.
No, I didn't think that would be. the
But I thought
solution.
this would be nice. We talked about it as a committee. We talked about it with the council that we would line the path from Floyd Street into the park with those markers. And again, nothing's written in stone. I mean, that could change. We have time.
No, I know.
Mr. Barry,
What'd you say? We never spoke about it?
I don't remember the stones.
Yeah, it goes way back to
No, it doesn't
when we were
matter. It's
designing the
there.
park. But again, I'm fine if the council doesn't want to do that. We can come up with something else. I don't know what else to tell you. That was,
getting back to the benches, will Gallen have enough time this week to, assemble them and install them?
again, David,
don't know.
I'm trying to coordinate between Bernie and Gallen to get information from them.
But the quicker the benches get to
The
the
benches don't
location,
need to be installed in order to open the playground.
okay. But it'd be nice.
It would be very nice.
Yeah.
And the garbage can would be nice too.
That would be very nice too.
We don't need problems, there's not wasn't problems with them arguing with us about coming and having to redo that patch job.
Who?
Well, whoever poured the rubber in place.
Oh, well,
If we
they're
open it-
gonna get played. They're gonna get paid.
No,
They-
I'm not talking about the kids. If, right now, you're saying that we need to do something because the patch job looks terrible.
Well, yes, the
Right,
committee
so
thinks
that-
it looks
so clearly
terrible.
That means that they're gonna have to come back and do something. My question
Right.
is if we open the park, because you're saying that we can open the park, it's safe. But if we open it, is it going to hinder our ability to go after them to say, you still need to patch this? Because now it's gonna say there's wear and tear.
Oh, we don't have to go after the company that did the poured rubber. The company that did the poured rubber is being compensated by Gallon
Okay.
and Game
Or
Time.
whoever we go after, whether it's them, I don't mean to interrupt you, whoever we wind up having to try to recoup the repair, is someone gonna come to us, which they probably will, and that's what I'd ask Matt for, his advice, is even though it's safe, should we open the park if it's going to hinder our ability down the road to say, we need to recoup this from somebody else? That's the only thing that you know what I mean, if we open it,
Well, what happened with the patch job and the reason why it looks the way it does is because when you take it and you lay down this poured rubber again, it cures differently depending upon the weather. So it's a little bit lighter, right? So now, which is the whole reason for putting in a path that would run over the patch job that's there now and underneath the stepping stones.
Hmm.
So it will be the same color. So when it cures, it's all gonna be one color, so it's not going to look that way. Now, as far as should we open the park, personally, I'd like to just see it get done this week. I don't wanna open the park, then shut it down for the kids again, and then open it. That's a pain. I'm not even saying I recommend that. I can't get an answer from the contractor and Bernie finalizing a date when this guy is gonna come. So I'm saying if this council wants to open the park, there's no safety issue. Do I think we should do that? Probably not, because I think, once people get into the park, I'm not worried about the poured rubber guy getting upset or Gallon. That's not an issue. I just think that, you open it up to the families and then you tell them we're taking it away again. It's a pain. But again, my hands are tied at the moment because between my daily conversations with Bernie and Mark and Gallon, nobody is getting me the final answer. So I'm just telling you, everything I know right now is that I'm waiting for a date.
and the
You're
inspector,
listening to that.
the inspector who came and said that the stone was too close to the bottom
The
of
stepping
slide or
stones,
whatever.
they were too far
Did
apart.
they say that now they're okay? Did they come back
Yes.
and inspect?
There is no.
Not that I don't take your word for it, but I mean,
No,
I
no.
wanna make sure we have something.
I'm told that they've agreed that there is no longer safety issue. Pictures were sent with measurements.
And we have
And Bernie spoke with the inspector.
Mr. Bavaria, we have a letter to that fact?
I'm looking for it now.
Okay, and just make sure that we.
It should be coming in today, if we don't have it already.
Let me look for it.
Anything else?
Any further question? No more? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
now I'm gonna to change our meeting order because a lot of residents waiting here. So to go to the closed session, I wanted to open public session first. Then we're gonna get into the closed session, okay? Everybody okay? I need a motion to get the, no, for the public,
Motion to open. Motion.
yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
Yes, now we're going to open the public comment session, and you know that always we have 5 minute time limit. And please come out and your name, address first, and then you can speak about the 5 minutes. Okay. Anybody want to talk? Okay. Come up, please.
Martin Geiger, 270 Alfred Street. At one of the meetings last month, Councilwoman Begach made a very smart request to the CFO. She asked him to prepare what I would call a pro forma future debt service schedule showing the impact on taxes of all the bonds that may have to be issued. 8.3 million for the settlements, amount for the sewer, amount for the potential bus purchase. And I'd like to know if that document has been prepared, and if it has, if it is available for the public to review.
Jerry, I think the document was prepared, correct?
Uh,
The SWEB?
Partial document was prepared.
Yes, partial was prepared. I did not understand the document, I'll be honest with you people.
Never seen it.
So, Jerry has, so, whatever.
So one request by Oprah, one can get a copy of it, Jerry?
Oh, yeah, it's operable.
Thank you.
Maybe
Next,
you-
I'd like to know, I think I understand what
I'll send it to you guys now.
resolution 219 with NBC, but if you didn't know, you wouldn't know from reading it what it's pertaining to. I think it's pertaining to the tennis courts.
Yes,
And it refers to two exhibits, but what exactly is it that the mayor is being authorized to sign? What are the terms of this second amendment?
Haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it.
No, sir.
How
That's
about
the
you?
question I was gonna ask, was I see the same thing that was in the document.
Great minds think alike, yeah.
That's what I was thinking as well. So
Anyway, so we don't know what that is. Or maybe it'll be tabled, I guess. And finally, I'm looking at the salary ordinance. I really need the borough attorney's attention on my question here. First of all, I thought that you had requested at the last meeting to see the comparison salaries that of previous salary ordinance.
mhm.
And I don't know if you have, but we haven't, it's not shown on this document. But then let's look at it. It says, it starts off by saying an ordinance fixing salaries, wages, and compensation for salaried appointed and elected officers within the borough. Well, all of these people are not officers. I believe you folks, council and mayor, are officers, borough administrator's officer, but I don't believe the nomenclature is correct. Now, why is that important? Because when you get to the very end of it, it says all employees employed as of the effective date of the ordinance will receive payment retroactive to January 1st, 2024. So assuming this goes through, are you expecting your own salaries to be increased retroactively to January 1st, 2024? I don't know.
we had nothing to do with this.
It also
Seen
seems-
last month and
it also
we
seems
got the same thing today.
a bit
No
awkward,
discussion.
but nonetheless, I guess, transparent to be authorizing increases in the officers' salaries before 1 month before an election, but that's.
So- Oh, this is the wrong one. This is not the one I prepared. I prepared a new one.
Anyone?
I prepared a new one. I sent to you on Friday. So this is the wrong one.
Okay.
So we should ignore the one that's in the
Next meeting.
package?
Mhm.
Okay, well,
After the election.
After the
We'll table
election.
this Again.
And then the
Well, we don't
tennis,
have the accurate information.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank
the
you.
tennis court lease was sent to council after legal reviewed it on Friday, October 4th
Okay.
at 3:09 PM.
Okay, next, please.
Matt, you can give us a recap then.
I would also make a I'm sorry. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
we name,
It's Christina Nam. I live in 48 Irving Avenue. So in our last meeting, maybe 2 minutes before, you guys have mentioned that you were gonna clean the drains and pipes. I think you mentioned earlier that you clean Maple, Chestnut, South Virginia. What about Irving Avenue and Pershing Road?
You did.
Irving Avenue, we're gonna start Irving Avenue tomorrow. They have to finish Bayview.
Mhm.
They have to start, so, and then we'll determine how difficult it is to get through Irving Avenue before we move on to the next street.
Okay, I have some questions.
Mhm.
So what additional measures beyond inspection and cleaning has the flood committee recommended? And what is the process for allocating funds? What is the timeline for the catch basin cleaning? And how can residents be notified of the scheduled work in their neighborhood?
I'm notifying you now that we're starting tomorrow with the cleaning,
Okay.
as well as the pipe. The cost, it costs us $4,000 a day for these crews to be in the village, to be in the, sorry, borough. Village was my former job.
Gotcha.
And then, as far as any repairs that need to be done, we won't know that until the engineers do the borough-wide investigation.
Mhm.
They're going through the same locations, in the same order that the company that's doing the CCTV and the cleaning is started. All right, so they're gonna start at Maple, then they'll go into Virginia, then they'll go to Bayview, then they'll go to Irving. Once they complete those 12, 13 locations, then they'll move on to the rest of the community.
And have you found any defects so far?
Some cracked pipe, nothing major, but some cracks in the pipe, definitely roots intruding, and sediment that we had to vacuum out. That was Bayview. The other 2 locations were pretty clean. I hope the same for Irving.
Thank you.
Did I talk to you about the tree as well?
No,
Okay, so I think I have to, are you 46 or 48?
48.
I'm sorry, okay. 46, I have to prune that tree.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
okay, thank you. Yes, come on, please.
Hi, my name is Deanne Compalone. I live at 175 Pershing Road. I'm here to ask about the Pershing Pond. I am also representing my neighbor Sant, my husband, Christopher Brigatti, and Sant, along with the neighbors across the street from the pond, attended the last meeting. I was not able to attend. I have an email from Sant that basically says that, from Jerry, that says that our engineer was supposed to come to the meeting tonight to discuss the pond capacity and identify structural issues so that we could have clear direction. I don't think that we have any clear direction.
Sure, I can give you some clear direction. And I'm sorry about the engineer. At the last minute, he had something come up in his family. But I'm prepared to talk to you if the mayor would let me.
Okay, I would appreciate that. I just want to make a note that there is not only a flooding issue as a result of the degradation of the pond. It's happened as a result of weathering, but also because Bergen County came in about 11 years ago. They took down one of the trees and they didn't put the walls back together properly. The former engineer, Andrew Hippolyte, has been out along with Mark Nevitt on many occasions. They were also supposed to discuss with the borough attorney, I don't know if it is the same borough attorney, about the fact that the tree was taken down and it posed a safety issue because now people can come up closer to the pond. They were always concerned that if there was a vehicle accident, that on the one side, a vehicle could actually enter into the pond. If it were to veer off the road for whatever reason. So these people have come out and were made aware of all of these issues and nothing has been addressed to date. Now, we have a situation in the last flood in August, beginning of August, where I have video where the pond actually went into the street. You cannot tell the difference between where the pond ends and where the street begins. That was the worst that I've seen. I've lived on that property for 12 years. And I think that we have a major issue, and I know that it may be expensive, but it is not 100% the result of weathering. It is having to do with some of the changes that have happened as a result of the DEP and Bergen County coming onto the property. PSE&G took down another tree that also caused the earth to collapse, and pretty soon it's not going to be a pond anymore. It's going to be a big puddle in the street, and it's all going to be one thing, and it is not designed properly to do what it's supposed to do, which is to slow down the rate of the water as it comes in, and possibly then cause, make it easier for the people who live downstream of that. And I think that's what it originally was designed to do. And so if we could get some direction and figure out, I've called the DEP and Bergen County. They all have this stuff on the record. They know exactly when the work was done and what was done. So, yeah, if you can tell us what your plan is.
May I speak just quickly? There is a resolution, I believe it was included in the packet, to form a committee. There are several members that are stated on there for this committee. So I would recommend to maybe stay in touch and become part of this committee that is going to look at not only that, the whole town, and gather expertise, advice, and really get this moving, kind of like a citizens task force, kind of resembling how the Parks Committee has operated. So hopefully that resolution will pass tonight, and hopefully we'll have meetings and it will open up to more people. And I think that's a way that you can really keep your hand on the pulse of the progress. We've already lined up a couple of experts, I mean, informally, that can, I think, help us.
So, I mean, we have a time frame. It's been.
Well, the resolution for the committee is, Laura, is it on tonight? Yes. So hopefully it'll pass. And then I would recommend getting in touch with the chair is purportedly on this resolution, Dan Sterling in town. So, get a citizens group together. I'm happy to serve as council liaison in the start, but I only have 3.5 months to go, 2.5 months to go. So that's what I would do if I were you. And I know that there's problems up there, and there are problems throughout town, and I believe that they can be addressed. And I plan to be part of the committee when I'm out of this seat up here.
I do, yeah. I was waiting.
Yeah.
Just kind
Okay, thank you. And the next,
So,
Thank
Mayor,
you.
if I could, I have some information that I think is.
yeah,
pertinent to
okay,
this.
just, yeah, for sure.
So I asked the borough, we were out there, I asked for the borough to do an analysis of the pond between 179 and 185. When the engineer went back to his office, and looked at the GeoWeb mapping from the DEP, the body of water at Pershing Pond is a much larger portion of an upstream section of the Flat Rock Brook tributary, which drains about or approximately 50 acres, which categorizes it as a regulated waterway under DEP regulations. The pond itself, according to the engineer, is on private property. According to the DEP regulations, any modifications to the regulated body of water, such as increasing its capacity, would require complete analysis of the entire water body to ensure that there's no negative impact downstream, to properly evaluate the situation and recommend potential improvements. An extensive analysis of the entire Flat Rock Brook tributary is necessary, not just the pond. And that's a financial undertaking. I had alluded to that in my report. So the estimate for that, or that proposal, which was sent out on Friday for council's review, is in excess of $175,000. So that's what's required. I don't have the engineer here. I need the engineer here so he can answer any questions. That's why it's going to be on the November 13th meeting. That's what I have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We're gonna discuss it. And then next, please. Okay, come up, please.
Karen Geiger, 270 Alfred.
The other microphone. This guy. Think of everything.
Short
yeah.
people, okay. And getting shorter. To Karen Geiger, 270 Alfred, a few things. One, you just raised the issue earlier about closing Irving for Halloween. I don't know how that becomes an executive session item. This is important to the public. Safety considerations, which someone mentioned, are about safety of the public. It's not about preventing injury. I suggest you discuss this in public and allow the public to weigh in. As a member of the Park Committee, I can just add that the thought that people may want to set up tables in the new playground is not a good one. The playground is full of equipment, and then it has very little peripheral space in it. So if you're going to have any tables set up, it should be in the area near the gazebo on the lawns. That's just a comment. Another comment I heard is that the schools are less than forthcoming with helping us. You just passed the first $1.3 million tax refund to 800 Sylvan. And last year there was an additional 300,000 to 800 Sylvan. When you give a tax refund, the borough pays the full cost, but the tax benefit has gone to the schools already, and they don't refund it to us, the same as the county. And it's about a third when I last looked. So the schools, although we don't give them money, are benefiting by not refunding what they've received to the borough to help the borough recoup its losses. So I think you should keep that in mind when you deal with the Board of Education in the future. Okay, moving on. Salary adjustments. I had asked last time that we see what an organization chart from the borough. We have no idea. Each week, more people seem to crop up. I'm not against hiring people, but it would be nice to see a plan that shows what each of these people is supposed to do and what you would intend to pay them. Any organization has this, and it is not available in Englewood Cliffs that I've seen. A few items on the agenda. The consultant that you're hiring for rec, it says $100 an hour. It doesn't say how many hours. There's nothing. You have no idea. Is this person full-time? Is this person for the next 6 months? Is it an interim person for a few hours? And what are they supposed to do? On the Triad Associates, once again, how much money are you paying them to do the affordable housing work that they're supposed to be doing for us? On the donations, it doesn't say in the resolution how much money you're accepting from all these organizations. And I would suggest to the council in the past, whatever the amount of money is that you raised, you gave it last year, I believe, to Hawaii when they had the natural disaster.
Right.
Perhaps this year you want to give it to North Carolina. And I hope we won't have a similar one in Florida.
Giving it to Tampa.
But yeah, whatever, it's just a consideration, but you should say how much money you're taking in from this. It would be helpful to the public. In resolution 2000, I'm sorry, 217, which is the helping on the affordable housing litigation, Mr. Mensch. I believe your firm is handling that. It would be helpful to the public to understand what you are litigating and how Englewood Cliffs fits into that. We have spent a lot of money, it's an understatement, fighting affordable housing in our borough, and I would not want to see anything go forward that could be viewed by the courts as not working in the best interest or consistent with the agreements we've already signed. So until we would see the full litigation and understand what's involved, and also if the League of Municipalities is supporting it, I would suggest that the council table that. On item 219, which I believe is the tennis courts, once again, nothing is attached. We have no way of knowing what you're referring to, what's involved in the lease. It's hard enough to get a copy of anything in this borough, let alone to see something new which isn't appended to the document itself. If you're going to present something for the public to comment, you should have it available for the public during the meeting, and certainly to all the council persons. I would not recommend anything be done until that is reviewed in its totality. And I want to comment on Oprah because I just recently had an experience where I asked for a copy of the RFQs and RFPs that were received by the borough responding to the issue of stormwater management. I thought it was appropriate that the public should be able to see what these people are hired to do for the 200,000 and that you've already awarded, and in the case of the attorneys for $200 an hour. When I asked for a copy of the documents under Oprah, I was told it was in a booklet form and I could come in and read it. Well, if it's in a booklet form and I can come in and read it, how did you all get a copy of it? And if you didn't get a copy, then shame on all of you for approving it without seeing it. So with whichever way this is working out, it's not the proper situation.
I'm sorry. So the employee may have misspoke. I gave him a booklet to give to you so you could have it without you printing it.
Well, that's not what I
Come
was
pick it up.
told. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Unbelievable. Well, there's a reason then that you have all these Oprah lawsuits, and this kind of miscommunication is not in the borough's interest. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Push,
you.
push it in from the
Okay,
top.
next, please. Anybody else? Okay, yeah.
Tim O'Shea, 15 3rd Street. I found out a few days ago that the dog park up at Whitty Field is going to be filled in with mulch or wood chips. And when I was on the park committee originally, I had looked at canine friendly artificial turf, which would have been a better surface, and it's easier to maintain, clean, and the hygiene and such. I had actually got some samples from the manufacturer of the different types of grass that they use. Yeah, pass them on to, she's not here anymore. You know, if that isn't the dog park isn't completed, there's time to like add a water connection and things. Yeah.
No, I was gonna give it to David as the liaison, and then.
So I don't know, you know, the time frame of the park, if it's something that could be looked at, but, you know, it was. No, that was it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Mr. O'Shea, I just wanted to comment. Thank you very much. I received your email. I think I responded to it. And thank you for catching that. And thank you for caring about the sanitation up there, because that's very important. And I'm sure that there's going to be some kind of change order, right?
Okay, anybody else?
Less than 10,000.
What about
That was nice.
June? Anybody? Yeah.
Please.
Uh, David, anybody in the Zoom? Hand up, Zoom, look at your Zoom screen.
Oh, he's there.
Oh,
What's the matter?
I don't see
Anybody have questions?
Is there anybody who wants
Oh.
to speak?
Raising their hand?
I don't see any hands.
Is
Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to comment? No, I don't
okay,
see.
then no
Thanks.
one seeing and hearing, I'm gonna close the comment. I need a motion to close. Okay, second. Okay, all in favor? Okay, then we're gonna go to getting to the closed session. And
How long we might be in there. I have no idea what we're doing.
I I don't have any idea.
Okay,
Depends on the questions and discussion. I can't.
Laura, what do I,
Just hit pause.
pause? Okay, we are,
Okay,
2:07, yeah.
That's King Munch.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, correspondence, block party, I think that's 7th Street on November 2nd.
November
Do
2nd.
you know this one?
This is a
Jerry?
yearly event.
Yearly
They
event.
have it, yes.
So we need any
So
special.
block party that they have, they came in, every year they have this event and they, on 7th Street, Mr. James McLaughlin. Pardon, James McLaughlin, they closed the whole street down.
There's a whole list of property owners and residents that.
It's a yearly thing.
Paperwork.
Yeah, they have it every year.
For them to have food and tables out on the street's closed, and they can have a party. Just their own block party.
They always do it.
Block party, so we need any.
Yeah, you just get a motion and second.
Okay, I need a motion to approve this one.
Need motion first.
Anybody
Second.
second? Okay. Okay, okay, roll call, please.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
Every-
All eyes.
All
Anybody? All fair?
all in favor. Yeah.
Okay.
Aye.
aye,
Abstain, yeah. Yeah, not all eyes. Okay, is there any test, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
207.
any number 7, council discussion, we have anything to discuss about it? Number 7.
No, we're on item number 7. Council, no, item.
Oh, no,
number
item number 7.
Discussion, 3-1.
Any discussion? No, all in favor? Okay, I'm gonna close it. Okay.
It's not public, it's not public.
Yeah, number 8 we done already.
Mhm.
Number 9.
Number
Public
9,
comment is done, right?
yeah,
Okay.
so number 9, I need a motion.
May I speak because I live in Irving Avenue?
I'm sorry, the public session is closed already. There's no more public comment. So we're moving on. It's payment of claims.
We're not doing Irving.
Yes.
We already did a public comment in advance, so we are skip.
There's no more time for public comment. You don't get to comment on each individual item. Public comment is that during the public comment section, that's now closed. The council's now going to discuss and vote on the items that are on here. So we're the item now is the payment of claims resolution 24-206.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to approve the bill list.
Second,
Okay, any discussion?
One item was added to the bill list that you received earlier in the week, and that was Land Tech's payment number 3 for the work that they did at Whitty Field. It was 700,000. That one came through. Then unfortunately, I went through the bill list a little bit late and noticed that it wasn't on there. And that was received by us last Thursday, whenever the 3rd was. So inadvertently was not on there. It's a $3.4 million project, so.
And the bill list too, just to make sure that everyone's there, we did have a discussion with Shuaib because he had pulled out
the attorney's fees, the attorney bills separately. So some of those items are already specifically authorized by the council at the last meeting. So just make sure if you are looking at the bill lists that, I think the bill list includes some bills that previously for attorneys that we haven't talked about in a while, but the council not previously approved. So, well, I'm not trying to in any way slow down any attorney bills payments off that list. I just want to make sure the council knows, because I know that that list is up there.
I thought that was just partially paid.
It was. That's what. So when I talked to Schwabe, I guess he hadn't got the resolution from the special meeting from a week and a half ago. So when he had done it, well, so what I am telling you is that, and I'll have you have your normal bill list that you have, right, which includes the only attorney's bills that are on there, I think, are mine and the normal bills. Schwabe had pulled out the various bills that had been held for different reasons. So my suggestion, I have not seen Schwabe having put in a new updated bill list. Jerry, did he do an updated bill list for the attorney's fees? No, he didn't. So what I'm suggesting to you is that you approve your normal bill list. You show 3 different bill lists, right? You have your normal bill list, which is your 75 pages that you can approve. Well, I mean, there's no issues there, right? But I don't believe that you should approve. You should be voting on the bill list that includes the lawyers that were separately pulled out, because it's not an accurate list. So I think that you should not vote on that portion of the bill list. The bill list that includes the
Bill list is incorrect too, then, if he doesn't have the people that we previously paid.
But
on the other-
no, it wouldn't need to be on the bill list because you've already paid it. So when you approved,
Still previously paid as well.
right, but so the bill list is broken up. When you have that previously paid bill list, that's for bills that literally have already been paid, not authorized, right? So
So the bill list that Matt's talking about is at 5:47 a.m. under the date of 10/7 on the right-hand side.
I know.
That's the one. That's the one he's talking about. These have July bills on them, which were not approved in the past, but June, May, April, may have been, were approved in the past.
That's not all of it.
right. So what I'm telling you is that the packet that you have included, I don't know how you guys printed it, but if you had it electronically, it had 3 separate lists. So you should vote on the main list, which is your
Motion
typical
to
bill list,
motion-
and the
motion to withdraw, extract out the legal fees.
the
Yeah, from the
legal held list.
legal held list.
Right.
Yes.
That would include paying. So you would still be paying my bills. That's on the normal bill list.
The regular list is 10 pages.
Right.
The attorney list is 4 pages. So.
Right.
So.
The 4 is part of the 10.
Yeah, no, you gotta look at these. So look, this is the bill list with 10 pages on it, right? If you look at the second to last page, it says page 10. That's the regular bill list that we always get every month.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Roll call?
Yeah, roll call vote on that. Yes.
It was
roll call.
Leanne.
What's the motion?
Motion by the Chris Kim.
To approve the bill lists except for the bill list, which is the legal held items bill list. It's the,
Seconded that?
We have a second on the phone.
You seconded that?
that is a 2-page document,
Okay.
and it includes bills from Jardine, Asbury, Dasty, Malagiri.
That's correct.
Member
Some of those
Liang?
you've already authorized.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Brigats?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Same. No.
It passes.
Okay, item number 10.
That was
No, that was it.
That was it.
Right. And number 10, approval resolutions. I need a resolution. Okay. Okay, well, each individual. I'm gonna just read about 24-207. Jerry, why don't you cover it about the here, the VA from the 207 to all the way to 216?
Okay, so on number 207, Mayor,
Yeah.
as Debbie indicated, the resolution is for a change in the color and the paint for the basketball courts, as she explained it. So it is option 2, which is a $3,242.66 plus $1,300 restocking fee change order that I'm asking council to approve.
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion. Okay,
Second,
okay, roll call,
This
please.
has already been done, right?
Yeah.
Work's been
Yeah.
done.
But she said the resolution that we had an option of 1 or 2 is really option 2.
Yeah.
Member Liang,
Yes.
member Begat,
Yes.
member Kim,
Yes.
member Di Gregorio.
yes,
Member Simon,
Yes.
member Luciano.
Resolution 24-208, Mayor, are
So we pulled the.
unrepresented employees of the borough that are not represented by a union or have their own separate contract. In 2022, some of them did not receive a pay increase. In 2023, some of them did not receive a pay increase, and in 2024, they have not received a pay increase. So these calculation that Schweb and I put together gets them to where they should be in the 2024 salary based on what everyone else has received in the past.
I need a motion.
Everybody else.
All the union members, so we have 4 union members that are
Are they
clerical.
doing the same job as the union member?
Everybody does whatever job is
Yes.
they're
They're
assigned to
just not
do.
part of the union.
They're just not part of the
I
union.
understand, but they're not doing the same job as the union.
No, they just
That's
didn't
what I
receive
mean.
any increases like the
Okay,
union
I
have
got it,
received.
I got it, but they're not doing the same job. You said
So
doing
what's
the
the
same
retro
job.
gonna be?
So in this situation, the total adjustment, which is the second to last column, they're only gonna get retro for this year. And then they're gonna get a lump payment for the total adjustment. We didn't want to go back to retro 23 and 22.
So I'm confused, so you're gonna, so what's the lump payment? That's what I don't understand.
49, 35, 94 for the first employee.
And that's just retro to January for this.
49,000?
No.
4,935. Yeah.
That's just for
I
this-
like that.
That's for 22 and 23.
Okay, I thought we weren't giving him retro, it was only gonna be for 24.
The 24, they're going back to January 1st. These,
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt, so.
okay,
Really, if you can't say that we're gonna give them payment back on 22 and 23, and then
We're
retro
giving it lump
24 to January, because we're actually retroing everything back to 2022.
Correct.
as everyone else received.
You know, I'm not questioning if we
Okay.
received what, I'm just talking about the semantics that we're using.
Mhm.
We're not giving a retro back to January, we're giving a retro back to 2022.
Correct.
That's all, I just want, if you
Yep.
said that we're only giving them a retro for this year, but technically we're giving them a retro for everything that they have.
For the last
gotten
3
since
years.
2022.
For certain employees, other employees who were not employed by us during those periods of time or had adjustments.
They weren't here, I
Correct.
mean, that's
That's
common
right.
sense,
We're trying to not pay people that weren't here.
that would be
okay,
helpful. That's fiscally responsible.
No, I'm just fooling around with Glenn.
is there gonna be a chance for discussion on this?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So did someone make a motion and do
Is
we?
there any motion, second, we're in discussion?
Oh, we're in discussion, good. So, my suggestion, and I think this is pretty much standard practice. I don't know if you can do it for non-union, but I think that we should definitely have in place a performance evaluation where people receive their increment. And if they get a good, performance review, just make it real simple, check, 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 check. Increment or no increment. That seems to be standard practice in most companies and government. And I think we should institute that in this. And I'm very happy to see that our CFO is agreeing to work for that salary amount this year.
Okay.
And so the CFO, speaking on that one, CFO is gonna go from 55,000 to 44,000?
Yeah, I think that's wrong.
There's another one.
I thought that was not wrong.
No.
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 I think he took the number from the
Have
previous.
Did he-
some of these employees like been compensated? I mean, we have a rate here from current salary, but are
It's-
there any, who's been identified or has anybody been identified? Cause I know there was certain people outside that were in the union that got increases outside the union, which I don't know how that happened, which you pointed out to us, Jerry.
That's not here.
I know that's not, but I'm saying, if, for argument's sake, if the tax collector here, it says he's currently making 27, and he didn't get a raise in 22, he didn't get a raise in 23, but he was only making 21,000 or 17,000 really in 21, he really went from 20,000 to 27,000 in 22.
Yeah.
So just because they didn't get a raise in 22, I'd like to know how they got to the current, you understand what I mean?
I do.
Because some people might have been, like, I know we made adjustments for, and it's not here, but I know we made adjustments for the building department. I know we made adjustments for other people that this, to me, on the surface, could be misleading and not having enough information.
So I'll give you.
Someone could have been making, and I'm not picking on anybody, CFO could have been making 40,000 in 22, and now he's making 55, but we're making it appear here, and that's a bad example because there is no increases.
Right.
But there could have been someone that didn't get an increase, and now we want to give him an increase, but we gave him a $10,000 increase in 22.
So,
That's something I think we need to look at.
so the first two employees have been here longer than 22. Their salary,
I don't
has not
necessarily
gone
think
up.
we need to debate
Okay.
that issue right now. I
All right.
think that those are things that should really come to, because to me, looking at this, I'd say, oh crap, someone's been here since 22, hasn't got an increase, but I know, being here, that some people might, not these people, but some people may have gotten an increase, may have gotten an adjustment.
Other people have, yes.
And it's not necessarily incorporated in.
Well, it's not incorporated, but these individuals have not gotten the increase since.
None of these have gotten any increase
So-
since 22.
Right, so I'll tell you that administrative assistant number 2, he started at 40, he makes 43.5 because he got an increase last year. So the increase for him reflected in this chart is just for 2024 because he received an increase in 2023. None of the others fit that criteria.
Can I
Thank you.
make a
Jerry, how would you correct the chief financial officers?
I'll do it now.
Yeah.
as we're still in discussion, if, and I'm gonna ask our borough attorney, if a resolution is prepared for the next council meeting to create an organizational chart for our borough, and along with that, a form for an annual evaluation or performance report or review of each employee. If that's put in a resolution, will that can that
So-
take effect, or how do you? how do you
Well,
recommend?
so the issue there is that any employee who's covered by a collective bargaining agreement, you can't do anything except what's in the collective bargaining.
These are not in the.
Right, so if you're talking about for employees who are not part of a collective bargaining agreement and are not otherwise contracted, they're your, typical employees at will,
Right.
or at least their salary is not tied to something that's mandated, well, then you can decide how to evaluate, you can always create an org chart just from, you could do that
Well,
regardless.
Yeah, that's
But I mean,
was
but if,
suggested prior, but I
Right,
think-
but I mean, if you're talking about from an evaluation standpoint, you can pass a resolution or an ordinance, depending on what's in your code already, to say, these are the criteria we're going to use to evaluate our our non-union, non-statutory.
Typically, I think. Typically, I think may I have I'll do 1 second, I'll just finish that. I think typically the borough administrator would be in charge of doing a performance report of these people here, and then the mayor and council would do a performance report on the borough administrator. But I think that we need to codify this or take a look and see what we have and clean that up a little bit. It will make for better organization in the future. And it will also correct possibly some problems that we have as far as performance. And I think it's just good business practice.
You certainly, and if it's just a general evaluative tool, you can always do that. If it's specifically tied to, if you check these 5 boxes, then you get this raise or not,
No.
that becomes more complicated to do even for the non-union employees.
The only thing it would have on the bottom is if you received your increment, or if your increment was withheld, and it would only be withheld if if there was obvious deficiencies in that employee.
Yeah, so I mean, conceptually, yeah, we'd have to work through the details because again, if
Okay.
you're a non-union employee, you're not entitled to an increment. You're not a union employee.
Right,
So,
exactly.
if you are, any of the people
But
on
that's
this
the point.
chart,
That's why we're
you're not
this resolution
obligated
passed, so
to,
they're treated fairly.
you don't have to get anything. Oftentimes what happens is that the non-union employees often kind of track the union employees to the extent that they're equal in terms of general kind of, what I'll call, cost of living increases, your typical kind of 2%, 2.5%. Sometimes, you may have a situation where you authorize like what I'll call discretionary, either stipends or discretionary bonuses. Sometimes different towns have a situation where, if the borough administrator recommends and says this employee's really stood out this year, I think they should get an extra $1,000 over what they do, that you kind of I'll call it merit increases as opposed to just standard living.
Understood.
Yeah.
We
Good.
need our
Karen, make me more comfortable with this. If I would know what these people's salary were prior to 2022. I know what they're making their current salary, but I'd like to know what they were making in 2021.
And
Because that would give me an idea of what kind of range indeed they are, what kind of increase they actually are getting over a 4-year period of time.
And I also add on to that.
Yeah.
I believe at one point you said that, and it was one of our employees on here, that they weren't getting an increase over a certain amount of years, but they still got their step increase. So is there stepping, so did they get a step increase? But they didn't get I don't understand that, you know what I mean? Because I could remember that you were saying that there was people here that got a step increase, but not the, so I just, will lead to that as well. What were they in 21? Because it'll show, because some people might have. got a
How we
step
got to
increase.
these numbers, I think that would be helpful, because it's kind of a blind item this way.
So the current salaries,
I know,
right? So the current salaries
but what was it in
are 2021 salaries, where it says
Oh,
current
that was
salaries.
2020 salaries.
Okay,
there.
2020, okay.
Yeah,
Now there's a motion, yes?
Well,
Yeah, we have motion done with the discussion.
I would like to
Um,
take-
I'm going to, I think it's important to support our employees. And this doesn't seem to be a huge number. And I think that, I can't say it, but I think that, it's deserved, and I will support this, resolution. With the caveat that it spreads the energy and the happiness, and that we can forge ahead in a very positive way.
I think what Councilman Di Gregorio is trying to say is that we should treat our employees with the same fairness as we do our union members. Our non-union employees, same fairness and standard of fairness as our non-union members. That's all. I believe that's what he's
I'm implying that, absolutely.
correct. Yeah,
How we got to the.
sure,
number.
sure.
That's the only thing I'm asking for. And it's not an evaluation on their performance.
Okay.
Or on their ability.
Would you like to make a motion
Yeah.
to table the matter?
Motion to
Okay.
table.
I would call the question.
Second motion to table.
I call the question first.
For the purpose of making,
Okay, why don't you just the tabling and for the maybe all night, we're gonna discuss about this matter? Please,
Matt,
he already
we-
did the motion. Anybody second? Tabling. Oh, second, okay, roll call. Please. Okay, roll.
So let's vote now.
Member Liang,
No.
member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim,
no.
member Di Gregorio,
No to table.
Simon,
Yes, to table.
member Luciano. May it's a tie.
Tabling.
Mayor, 2024-209 should be held until the next meeting. so that I can do more work on that and potentially bring the individual here to council.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
2024-210 should be held until the next meeting, because that's when our affordable housing, when our planner will be here, and he'll explain the importance of that
Okay.
administrative agent, which is a requirement, but he knows a lot more about it.
I thought we already had the same thing before.
211 is to advertise for the project phase 1 and phase 2. We need council approval. According to DOT rules, we need council approval to go out and advertise for this project.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Aye.
Thank you. 2024-212 is a
Motion.
standard. Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Kim?
No, we go.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Oh wait.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's
You
Kim.
say yes?
It's Kim and then Digger, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Kim and then
Yes.
Gregorio.
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Aye.
Mayor, 2024-213 is to accept donations from the 5K run. However, the
Table.
resolution does not have the amounts, which we could bring into the next meeting.
Yeah.
We're gonna, make a resolution to table this until we get some further information.
Second.
Table.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Sue me.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Mayor, 2024-214 are the rules that were provided to us by our recreation director for Veterans Park regarding the new courts and the new
Motion to table until we get
facilities.
the wording worked out.
Yep. Second.
Member Liang?
I'm sorry, just.
Table.
Motion to table. Oh, okay.
Can we get the wording? We talked
Yes,
about.
yes,
the
yes,
wording.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Mayor, 2024-215 is a no-cost resolution for the borough, but it is in support of the Sustainable Jersey program to evaluate climate vulnerability, which is being done by several colleges, including and primarily NJ IT. Yep.
Motion.
So,
Roll call.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Mayor, 2024-216 is a resolution directing Mark in the Public Works to relocate, not remove, the Veterans Memorial Sign monument at Veterans Park.
Have an idea where it's being moved?
Further back. Off
Further
the,
back.
off the street level, further back into the park, so it's more conducive,
Okay.
right?
So moved.
Second.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Mayor,
Okay.
2024-217 is a resolution authorizing the borough to participate in litigation brought up and brought forward by the borough of Montville and now including 10 to 15 communities for a cost of $10,000 this year and $10,000 next year, handled by a law firm that we all know and love.
Make motion.
Another second. He need already motion.
Second.
I made a motion.
Now you can make the motion.
You
I
know,
second it.
Second.
Now you can make the motion.
Well, he read it.
yeah.
Now, but you needed a motion. and-
He already motion.
Yeah,
and
we
second.
didn't do that earlier. We
Oh,
kind of,
you didn't catch it. though.
well, some of them we didn't make any motions to table, we just skipped them, some of them we tabled, so it's.
Motion
Roll
to
call.
table.
So motion to
second.
table, second by, okay. Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Wait, there's a
Kim?
motion to table?
Table.
Yes.
Okay, it's a motion to table.
Table.
Hold on. This is a motion to table. I thought a motion for this resolution, not a motion to table.
And there was a motion.
Motion to table.
Which takes that over that joking about back and forth.
So it's motion to table.
Table.
Yes.
Yes?
No.
Member Begets? Member Kim?
No.
Member Di Gregorio?
Abstain.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member
Yes.
Luciano? Passes 3-2. And
Right.
abstain.
Right.
Okay, so it passes.
Motion to table
The
pass.
table, yes.
Yes.
Mayor Resolution 2024-219 authorizes the borough to enter into a lease agreement.
218.
3-18.
I'm sorry,
218.
I forgot. Yeah,
I don't see
So we-
218.
my packet doesn't have 218.
Mine doesn't.
Oh.
Contract, and please pick up and disposal too. With an
Matt.
underline, I don't know who it's going to.
Matt, can you kind of opine on that? Is that two that we got?
Who's it going to, Joe?
Matt.
No, since he evaluated the bids.
I know, but it's going to me. Hold on. I gotta Google Leaf. Hold on.
There was some
Or-
evaluation of the two bids
Oh,
that the attorney's office did for us.
I heard we're gonna dump them at David's house, so we don't have to put them on the street, you know, be good both for the lawn.
Of course, now that I need to do this, my computer decided to restart my Outlook. So come back, skip it and come back. So we're not held up while I find it.
All right. So I go to 19 now. Mayor, 2024-2019 is a resolution authorizing the borough to enter into a lease agreement with NBC Universal Media for what we is commonly known as the tennis courts. There you go. That's
Second.
good.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets? Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
2024-220. Matt, I'm going to move it ahead.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, 2024-220 is a resolution authorizing the borough administrator, me, to approve change orders for the ongoing park project consistent with the recommendations of the Parks Committee. Approve project change orders up to a limit of $10,000 in accordance with existing laws and regulations. Which
I need a motion.
may be
Motion.
in conflict.
So, hold on. I'm sorry, Mayor. So I just one legal issue on this to make sure that it's clear. There are specific laws on approving change orders. So there's a couple issues that everyone needs to be aware of. Pursuant to regulation, the governing body can delegate its authority for approving change orders within a parameter like this, only for what's called minor field site modifications. So a minor field site modification would be things like the regulation provides for, as example, additional stone fill needed, modifications of footings, additional rock blasting. That may be authorized. I'm reading the regulation right now, provided that they do not affect the overall scope of work of the contract by the designated representative of the governing body. These change orders shall only result in minor price increases to the originally awarded contract. So in other words, if they're out there doing the park and they say, you know what, we actually needed some more stone, we underestimated the stone, he can do that according to here up to $10,000.
Is it $10,000
If it's
within the purview of that?
Yeah.
Are there
With-
millions of dollars?
6
Yes.
million versus 10.
No, I'm not
No,
saying.
no,
I know.
Right.
No.
So what it's saying is that if they were to come back and say, we need another 2 more bags of stone, I don't know what comes in.
I
They
understand.
could come to Jerry. Jerry could say, hey, that's fine. That's no problem. Signed off on as long as it's under $10,000. If they come back and say, yeah, we underestimated stone, but it's going to cost $20,000, it would have to come back to
The question I believe Councilman is asking is in what you're reading us, mention a monetary
cap.
limit.
no. It
That's the
just
question.
says, the language of the regulation says that these change orders shall result only in minor price increases to the originally awarded contract price. It does not define what minor price increases are.
That's just what
There
I'm
are other regulations that say, one, that if you're going to exceed more than 20% of the original contract price, there's a whole separate set of rules. And two, these are still within kind of the overall scope of the contract. So you can't have, let's just say, making up a ridiculous number, but you can't have 10,000 change orders of $10,000 that then wind up costing, adding $1 million to your contract price. So So that's what this would be, minor field site modification.
Am I recording?
You know.
I told you to turn the recorder on.
Motion and second.
Okay.
I think you
Was
were.
there a motion and
Did
a
you see
second?
that?
We're not-
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can answer me.
Motion and second.
I got a motion. I don't know who seconded that.
I do have a problem advocating my responsibilities to someone, but besides that, for minor changes, I don't have a problem. But you know what I have a problem with? I feel like that I'm out on an island of my own when it comes to anything with these committees. I get no information, and I get it after the fact, or I get it the day of the meeting. So I'm just not comfortable with saying, you know what? Because you know what, change orders are gonna happen, and I'm never gonna hear about them. And then someone on the street's gonna tell me, oh, did you know this took place? And I'm gonna be like, oh, and it's just gonna upset me. So just speaking for myself and discussion, that's the way I feel.
But Jerry is gonna be committed to telling us. Right, Jerry?
If it says it in the
That's that.
resolution, of course.
Can we?
Well, it doesn't say it in the resolution.
Well, there are two things. I think we should probably add the wording into the resolution. And number two, if we don't pass this, there's going to be risk of delay. And we don't want to delay this park. We want to move it gracefully forward. So I think this, yeah, okay, well,
So, yeah, David, here's the issue that, just to counter what you just said. We had a resolution tonight with two options, right? We were told by someone on the committee that, oh, no, there's not two options. We already did this.
well,
So, what-
add the wording.
Simple thing. Say what I mean, that's where I'm coming from. So really, we came here tonight thinking we're gonna have and vote on something that we just got today. There's two options, and then we found, but you're saying, oh, we don't wanna delay anything. We don't delay anything anyway.
Well, there's
If
nothing.
it needs to be done, we're gonna do it.
Sure.
Just make that the.
We have to have a certain set of trust in the people who are conducting the work.
Yeah, so
Trust, it has to do with not being.
It does have to do with trust because you're saying that you need to be informed of every minutiae detail, and therefore you don't trust the people who are been a part of it.
Detail. I'm saying. I
You
don't
just
get-
complained about knowing whether the park basketball court was painted a certain blue color
No, I didn't
or
say
not.
that.
You just referenced it. It's
I
okay.
referenced that we were talking, I referenced the resolution, David made a comment that we're, by not approving this, we're gonna delay things, right? So the color of the basketball court, right, which now you're making reference to that I didn't say, I said there was something on here about returning paint or keeping the paint, had nothing to do with the color of the it had to do with
The paint
that
had to
was
do with the color of the basketball
my
court,
color.
Liza was on. Yeah.
Well,
My point being is that I want to be informed, I want to know about the minutiae.
You know, the type of the color, whatever, not so.
It's not that about-
Let's take the vote.
Just
We
a
could call the
vote.
question,
Okay,
please.
All right, you're gonna. Just a
We need a vote?
roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Beat?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes,
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
No.
I just want to comment very quickly. The parks look great. Absolutely fan. The park, the one on Irving, it's spectacular. Really, really good. And credit goes to all the people and they know who they are.
Okay, next.
Resolution 2024-221 is a resolution to purchase the monitor, soundbar, and wall mount for the community center, which is an 85-inch 4K TV, as well as a tilting wall mount for that TV.
Aren't we getting 20 on some offer from LG? Probably will get something.
We don't have a number on what the cost of it.
Exactly.
Yes, I did
It's
have
1,900.
not to exceed 1,900. I got quote, I did look and on a B&H in New York City, which really offers the best prices, and they are state contract also.
And this is a Samsung.
And it's a Samsung. And that does not preclude us from asking for donations in the future. This is just one monitor, and certainly you can't have enough monitors in a facility such as
Hold
or
on.
an administration building.
Hold on, this is a.
Yeah.
Well, the community center has nothing right now, so we have to put something. What's that? This is a TV.
So we're gonna start with TV.
Sure.
Yes.
There's nothing in there. We're gonna
Movie
start-
night. Movie night for seniors.
At least with the TV, you can have yoga, you can have
Okay, just a second.
Zumba,
Okay.
you can have all kinds.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. I have opinion. What about if we got the TV from maybe donation, something like from the LG? This contractor can install with the what is the wall mount, something like he can do that. And then this is a really urgent matter. I'm gonna make a deal with LG. Maybe they can donate for us. Would you hold on just 1 month, please?
Sure, not
Okay.
a problem. But if you can ask them for 100-inch, that.
Okay, you just send it to me about
Okay,
the
I will.
size, and I'm gonna talk to them.
Oh, wonderful. Good. All right. Thank you, Mayor.
I'll move on.
Do we have a
Sure.
motion?
Motion to table.
Just the table.
Yeah. Just
Withdraw the motion, motion to table,
all.
whatever you want to do.
Withdraw the motion. There's no motion.
Okay.
Mayor, 2024-222 is a resolution authorizing and directing myself as well as and/or the police chief to purchase and install traffic calming signage. Earlier today, I sent an email to Mark asking for an opinion on this regarding the cost, and this is approximately $30,000 according to Mark's calculation for this equipment.
Did the police approved it?
No, he hasn't looked at it. He didn't have time to look at it.
That's the table.
I spoke to the chief about it and he doesn't object to it. But I think that I would definitely not consider tabling it because there's a statistic that if a car is operating at 40 miles an hour, the incident of death goes up a huge percentage. The lower the speed of the car, the less chance that person is going to die, basically. And I think it's prudent for us as a mayor and council to do what we can to calm the traffic in town.
I agree.
And this definitely has that intent. You're looking at flashing stop signs. You're looking at stop when pedestrian is in crossing. I was driving home yesterday in another town, and there was a pedestrian in the crosswalk, and the cars are whizzing by. So I think whenever you see that sign that it's in the middle of the road, whether it be a school or the post office, you're definitely doing something that's, when you compare it to a life, it would be a sin not to do it. 5 children at play signs. There is an area on Irving. Children are playing. Even if they're not playing, this trafficker is still going to be aware there might be children playing, and they're going to slow down. So my conscience is clear. I've introduced this resolution. I think that if it saves one life, one precious life, one precious old life or young life, it's worth for us to make a petty investment to move this thing forward. So I appeal to everyone here to at least let's purchase these things, and then we have them and we can deploy them, and we can have discussions as to where we can deploy them. We got a phone call. I have phone calls from South Summit on Irving, and I actually saw a car plowing through there. If there was a sign "Children at Play," maybe that driver would have thought twice. Or if there was a stop sign, they would have had to come to a complete stop. So I appeal to everyone to please pass this resolution.
I agree with Councilman Di Gregorio. There's a bus stop there on Summit Avenue and Irving Street. My children have bus stops there. There's a lot of traffic that goes there during the mornings, and it's commuters who are going from the north side and taking local roads into the south side into Fort Lee, trying to beat the traffic on Sylvan Avenue. It's very obvious because they wouldn't be coming that way unless that's the only reason why they're coming that way in the mornings. And as a parent and as a personal injury attorney, you'd think that it's not going to happen, but I mean, my life is about things like this happening, so I see it happen often. You don't think it's going to happen, but it does. As a parent, I'm very concerned about the safety of our children, and then the elderly people who walk their dogs in our neighborhoods.
I had a discussion with
Well, we as citizens can also make initiatives that are not seen or concerned, yeah.
No, it has been brought to his attention. Well, the less than $30,000, no more than 30,000.
It's pretty high. It's 44,000.
If it's on state contract, you have to,
it's-
or if it's
If it's state contract or Sourcewell, it's not an issue.
Right, so
and all of this is on state
You have
contract.
that, right?
I'd rather make Summit Street honestly a one-way street
Like,
going
yeah,
north.
yes.
Yeah, it should be made one way going north.
yeah, so the two things that when it comes to purchasing as a general matter, if it's over 17.5, you can, but under 44, you can go out and you can purchase, but you have to have, you have to at least find comparable prices. You can't just go out and pay. Now, if it's on state contract, that's fine. My only concern with this is just making sure that one is under 30,000, but also that we the other resolutions have specific kind of thought, exactly what you're buying. Just making sure that if Shuaib or whoever the QPA is has to be comfortable that it's within their authority to make to choose which things to do. As long as the QPA is okay with it, then and you get three comparable bids. And
Not that I know of.
Like, I don't mind tabling it. We could think about other alternatives. I thank Councilman DeGugo for making the introduction.
I am.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I am totally disappointed, and I think that, looking at it even from a practicality standpoint and a political standpoint, you guys are running for office. I'm not running for anything. You're running for office. I mean, my God.
Please,
I thank
please
Councilman
stop it.
DeGugo for bringing up the issue.
Okay,
It's something
please
that
run
we're gonna try to continue to work on, especially with some input from the
Okay.
police department as well as the fire department.
Please stop it and just vote, okay? Don't blame.
So, it's tabled already, right? It's tabled.
Yeah,
you have to
Not to
vote.
take a
Okay.
vote, but-
Okay, right.
Table it.
Oh, no, we got to take a vote on
Yeah,
table.
I think I vote on table.
Sorry.
What is it?
Yeah, I'll go with you. Yeah, it's tabled. I'm fine with that.
Motion to table.
We need a vote.
Right.
Yes.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Save a life, no.
Member Simon?
Yes,
Member Luciano?
do it right and you'll get it done right, but I make a motion, yes, to table.
Passes.
223.
Mayor, 24-223 is a resolutions to purchase equipment. We've already purchased a 75-inch monitor for council use, and this would be additional equipment that's necessary to utilize the monitor and support Zoom meeting capabilities. It is 4 items listed there, total $1,440.33.
What is it?
$1,440.33.
Make a motion.
I think we have to.
I second it.
Issue here,
Discussion.
because it's not functioning right. And David is leaving, he's not running to no office. So.
You can write me in.
Nobody to no office, so and there's nobody to jump in to fix. I mean, she is busy with that taking notes.
Our administrator already said there's no way that she can, no disrespect.
No, she cannot.
She can't do everything.
Can't.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
motion.
Correct.
It's
That's
not working.
correct.
We spent $50,000 on it. It still works like crap. I don't understand.
That's okay, so.
Look, let me have the floor. No, look.
You did a nice job, and it's fine, but it's not.
First of all, I don't need that. I just would like to explain what is going on here. Number one, there's 2 vendors or 3 vendors. When you have multiple vendors, you have fingers pointing at each other. That computer that Ms. Borchers is sitting behind was supplied by BIS Digital. It is really the court computer. That is court. It is also used for planning board, and it is also used for recording for the council meetings. That computer is not capable of doing Zoom and also the recording of the audio recording. You need to have two separate computers. You can do it on one, but you risk losing everything if the computer locks up. That's why my recommendation, and that's why I'm using my personal computer now for Zoom, and we've had absolutely no problems, is to split it. There was nothing to do, it had nothing to do with the installation of the monitors in here or making this this room Zoom ready. It had everything to do with the computers that BIS Digital, that we are putting too much into that computer. All I'm asking, requesting, and wait a second, this resolution incidentally has nothing to do with this. I'm talking about this room. This resolution has to do with the administration building. So I'm addressing a totally separate matters from this resolution. I'm basically addressing Councilman Luciano's concern. Zoom cart is for the administration building. In the administration building, there is a 65-inch monitor, I believe, sitting on a table in the conference room. And I made the recommendation to have that, it's sitting on a table that is really not safe, mount it on a cart, get the equipment for Zoom. You can roll it into the large conference area if should the council ever choose, as we did at one point, have work sessions in there. You can roll it into another conference room and you're ready for Zoom, good quality. You can communicate with your engineer, you can communicate with your committees, you can communicate with just about anyone if you have it at the ready all the time. It's a small expenditure that would make the administration building, in my opinion, a little bit more efficient and quite frankly, more professional with professional video conferencing cart.
But the computer is for
the cart. It stays on the cart.
Yeah.
But you say here that it's the context of virtual and hybrid, so it's just for Borough Hall.
Wait a second. Yes.
I'm reading 223. 223, enhancing the technology capabilities to better serve the residents council in the context of virtual and hybrid meetings.
I didn't write that. That's
Okay,
right.
you already purchased, right?
Hold on.
You already purchased.
Hold on for a second. Can you give Councilman?
I don't have 223.
It's still discussion. Councilman Di Gregorio's. It's Councilman Di Gregorio's resolution. It's Councilman Di Gregorio's resolution. I think he deserves some respect as to explain his resolution. Can you let your fellow party Democratic member finish his statement on the resolution? Okay. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
All right. This is simply to create the cart in the administration building for Zoom capabilities. That's all. And it's a very minor expenditure that'll bring a lot to the administration building. Now, listen, you can table it if you want. Go ahead, Councilman Luciano. Go ahead and table it. Melanie Simon, if you want to table it, table it. That's fine. Don't forget. All right. Would you like me to explain it to you again? I would
Okay.
love to. It's exactly.
Please.
Would you like me to read it?
Please.
Go ahead.
I will read it. Resolution for purchase of Zoom card equipment for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. Whereas the Borough of Englewood Cliffs is committed to enhancing its technology capabilities to better serve its residents and council members in the context of virtual and hybrid meetings. Okay, that's exactly what how it reads. You're going to have people sitting around the table in the administration building, the big conference table, and you'll be able to bring in the vendor of our new fire truck that we're wanting to purchase. You're going to be able to bring in someone who maybe Mr. Neville would like to speak with. You're going to be bringing in people via video conference and high quality video conference. You're going to have a computer dedicated to that. You have the monitor already, wireless keyboard and mouse, and you have a very nice webcam that brings our image to them. And you're going to have a very nice cart that you can wheel that around. You can wheel that around to any conference room you want there, or you could wheel it down the elevator and to a site that you need it. Simple. It's here in the resolution, spelled out plainly. If you don't want it, it's fine with me. All I'm trying to do is try to forward things to make this borough better. Simple, that's all. And it's only $1,400.
Okay, more than enough, okay. Tabling, and then you don't agree, we can vote again, okay?
Right now we're doing the motion to
Yeah,
table.
motion table, yeah, vote first. Yeah, we know that.
Member Liang,
Yes.
member Begats,
Abstain.
You said
Member
motion to
Kim?
table, right?
No.
The motion to table.
yes.
But you said you were, okay, you said you were
No,
gonna
no, they
support.
override my initial.
Because
Motion,
they made a
yeah.
motion to table. Yes.
Here.
Member Di
When we
Gregorio.
started this conversation, I made a motion. I believe somebody second, you second.
Yes, I did second
Okay,
it,
so
yes.
what about that one? Is
Well,
that our?
Then he made
Uh,
a motion to-
Well, excuse me, why don't you let the mayor and the borough attorney explain it to
yeah.
Councilman Yang?
Please explain.
There was a motion on the resolution. However, there was a motion to table. So the roll call vote right now would be on the motion to table. A yes tables, a no doesn't table.
Can you also explain to us when you do a motion to table and a second, what happens so that people that want to quote Robert's Rules of Order who don't follow it can really understand what it really is supposed to do?
Nobody has quoted Robert's Rules of Order here today, this evening, except for your Councilman Luciano. Yeah, nobody quoted it. Nobody quoted it. Nobody quoted it.
No, David does.
Okay.
Member Di Gregorio,
It's a motion,
I know you
it's
didn't remember.
a motion to table in a second. Matt, please let's go forward.
so can I go back?
Oh,
Being that
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Liang was
No, we
confused.
did already, right? Two of us, we did already, right? So.
We did.
Did you understand the motion to
No.
table,
Yeah, no,
Councilman?
and we understand.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, he said
Actually,
yes to table.
actually, I understand that what are the mayor's comments, so.
No, I'm
Okay,
confused.
you initially said yes to this one, right? Then, how come you can do that they did, tabling? You
Right.
cannot say no.
Because the, my initial
don't
one being
realize.
override by the. by
Can
your-
Mr. Liang go back to his to his?
That's what I'm
and
asking.
revote?
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
No,
Yes.
If you could, if you would like, you could change your, now that you understand the question fully, Councilman.
Maybe me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
if you want, you don't have to, nobody's forcing you.
Attorney, so I must understand.
I believe the easiest thing to do, just so the record is clear, is there's been a motion and a second on the motion to table. I think we should start the roll call vote from scratch on the motion to table. That way there's no question and the record's not confused. If there's yeses and more yeses than nos, then this issue is tabled for today. If there's more nos than yeses, then you can vote on the actual underlying resolution.
Okay.
So this motion is to table.
Yeah, motion to
Yeah,
table.
Okay, member Liang,
No.
member Begats, member Kim,
No,
member Di Gregorio,
no,
member Simon,
Yes.
member Luciano. It's
motion
3-0.
fails.
Okay.
Yeah,
So now, if there's no more. No, you wouldn't vote on that.
no, it's.
Motion
one-
fails. It's 3-2.
Four
3-2.
noes,
Three,
noes,
three noes,
Three noes,
two
I'm
yeses,
sorry.
one
Yes,
abstention.
yeah.
Two no, yes.
And now, roll call.
Now,
Yes. Go back to this resolution.
Motion for the resolution to pass.
Yes, I need second.
second,
Yeah.
what second?
okay, okay, so I did second, yeah.
No,
Roll call, please.
member Liang,
So here, the 2-3, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Again. Yes.
yes. Member Begats,
Abstain.
member Kim,
Yes.
member Di Gregorio.
Yes,
Member Simon,
Abstain.
member Luciano.
I'll join the rest of you and abstain as well.
Yes.
Motion, huh?
Motion
to three?
passes.
No, it's, yeah, 3-3.
I'll trade you this
Abstain.
motion, I'll trade you this
It passes.
resolution for the last one.
No, it passes. It's 3 yeses and 3 abstentions, so it passes.
Okay, we go back to two.
The other one, now that we're done with the resolutions, the lowest bidder on the leaf contract was Environmental Renewal. The issue that we looked at, just so everyone understands, is that when they submitted their package, they didn't include, usually you have to include like an Iran Sanctions Accountability Act that says you're not investing in Iran. and they didn't include a disclosure statement. Those are waivable defects, so those are forms that, you know, the borough doesn't require you to discount their contract. They were the low bidder, and they complied with all the material terms of the bid requirements.
Who did our leaf collection last year?
Oh, I don't.
So we Nature's Choice, right?
Is that another company?
The other one.
The other company.
Wait, Matt,
He's here,
Nature's
it's what he's
Choice.
saying.
No, the low bidder was environmental.
Yes,
Yes.
no. The low bidder was environmental renewal, but they did not provide that information.
Right.
Hence,
is not
Nature's
disqualified.
Choice.
No,
That's it.
no,
We can
no,
go with
it's
that.
waivable. So what
Okay.
what I'm saying is that environmental renewal was the low bidder. They did not provide the forms I just mentioned, but those are waivable defects because they're not material terms, so you're not required to bounce them because of it.
They're not fatal.
Not fatal.
Can we request that they submit?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a condition of approval, they have to submit those forms.
Okay, may I make a
So
comment?
we need a motion and a second. to
So
do
we
that?
need a motion and second, right?
I,
To approve that.
No, 24-2,
218.
right?
I'll make a motion to accept it pending authorization and requiring them to submit the paperwork.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
abstain.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
There's a motion, there's a resolution I put up on the screen. Did we vote for that or not? Was that a resolution establishing the flood mitigation committee for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs? Is that coming up or did I miss something?
I don't see the item here.
Yeah, it's not on.
I sent it earlier.
Okay, 11, where will,
So I can do introduction to ordinance, Mayor, 2024-13. I would like to bring that back. There's a new version which I provided to council, to Laura first, and then provided to council. Just the clerk just inadvertently put in the wrong version. It's much tighter, very different than this one.
Yes.
That I would like for the council to consider at the next meeting.
Yes.
At least give me some feedback on it, if that's appropriate.
Yeah, okay, table in next month, okay.
4-20 is a mandated stormwater ordinance in accordance with the NJDEP regulation. It is what we need for the community. Every other community, 565 communities, or at least all of them that are tier A, are passing the same ordinance. This would be the first reading of that.
Okay, I need a motion and a second. The 24-20. Stormwater ordinance.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to take 24-20 on, yeah.
Okay, and just to be clear, that's ordinance 24-20, an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement chapter 30 of the Borough Code entitled zoning, most notably section 30-23 entitled stormwater management by replacing the entire section entitled stormwater management.
I need a second. Roll call, please.
So be hearing on number 13.
Uh,
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Abstain.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Okay, Jerry, 24-20, would you explain?
Introducing an ordinance to address privately owned salt storage. We have several large office complexes that have privately owned salt storage, that they utilize privately owned salt storage. And so this, according to the DEP, is the regulations that we have to provide that, as well as enforce with DPW overlooking and checking on this. This is another mandated by the DEP and also reviewed by Matthew's office. So moved.
Okay, second, I need second.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ordinance addressing privately owned salt storage.
Member Liang?
Yes.
Member Begets?
Yes.
Member Kim?
Yes.
Member Di Gregorio?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Luciano?
Mr. Mayor, may I just interrupt
yeah,
one
okay.
second? I have, unfortunately, it seems that what I sent maybe was missed, but I put up on the screen for everyone to see a resolution establishing the Flood Mitigation Committee for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. This is a very important resolution that many residents came to me. I'm kind of disappointed that it was not included in the packet. I assumed everything was. However, may I just read it quickly and for your consideration? And could we use this as a walk-in resolution? It goes, resolution establishing Flood Mitigation Committee for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. Whereas the Borough of Englewood Cliffs has experienced increased flooding in recent years, impacting safety, infrastructure, and well-being of its residents. Whereas there is a growing need to address the causes and consequences of flooding through coordinated community-driven efforts aimed at identifying solutions and mitigating future risks. And whereas the mayor and the council recognizes the importance of engaging both local government and community members in the developing strategies to address the ongoing flooding issues. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, that a flood mitigation committee is hereby established as a new subcommittee tasked with researching and proposing solutions to mitigate flooding within the borough. Be it further resolved that the Flood Mitigation Committee shall be composed of the following members. I would be the liaison. I'm only here 2 more months. I'm glad to give it up now to someone else if someone else wants it. Daniel Sterling would be the chair of the subcommittee. Jessica Liu, Bernadette Cracciolo, who is here in the audience, Karen Geiger, and Christina Nam. Be it further resolved that additional members from the community may be appointed to the committee in the future as necessary. Be it further resolved that the responsibilities of the Flood Mitigation Committee shall include, but are not limited to, research the causes of flooding in the borough, coordinate with the relevant municipal departments and external agencies, preparing reports and recommendations based on their findings, making formal proposals to the Englewood Cliffs governing body to address and reduce flooding risks. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. It's introduced by me, and I am asking for the governing body to consider it. And I would like, if I'm allowed, to make a motion to pass resolution 24 – we have to assign a number to it.
Okay, motion and the second. Who has second? He did. He already. No, he did.
They don't have, you don't have to, oh, okay, I'll do it.
Second.
Yeah, you don't have to do that if there's no second. It's just a waste of procedure.
What's happening?
Again, it amazes me that there's an election coming up and that we're not serving the community. And we would rather table motions than take action against this. I find it just amazing.
About it, you're dumping it to us.
$200,000 on an engineer.
Exactly.
You want to do a committee.
I agree with David, Councilman Di Gregorio. I know there's a.
It's tabled.
No, it's
There's
not.
motion
No
to
second.
carry.
No
Nobody.
second.
Okay, it's dead.
Okay, call the question then. I made the motion.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean-
let's move on.
I second it.
And Chris seconds it. Okay, so let's take a vote. Let's give.
Second is dead.
Okay, so it'd be the current vote would be on a motion to table the resolution, the walk-on resolution, read by David.
It comes up on the screen.
Okay. So then.
Well, he read the resolution
We're scared.
into the record.
Yes.
David
So
made
that
the
makes it-
initial
that makes it all
motion.
better.
Councilman Kim made the second on the introduction of
Intro.
the main resolution.
It's a simple
Councilwoman
resolution.
Simon made a motion to table. Seconded by, but that doesn't,
That doesn't
no,
play into it,
no.
okay.
Seconded by-
Seconded by Councilman Luciano.
Luciano.
Now there's a vote on the motion to table.
Okay, member Liang,
Yes.
member Begets,
Yes.
member Kim,
No.
member Di Gregorio,
No to table.
member Simon,
Yes, to table.
member Luciano.
Yes.
Englewood Cliffs, this is your governing body. Make
Mayor.
your decision in November and vote carefully.
Mayor, our final ordinance for introduction this evening is 2024-2. It's an ordinance of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, providing the purchase of a fire engine and appropriating $2.3 million, therefore, and providing the issuance of $2,185,000 in bonds or notes for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs to finance the same.
So.
I need a second.
Member Liang,
Yes.
member Begets.
Yes.
Member Kim,
Yes.
member Di Gregorio,
Yes.
member Simon,
Yes.
member Luciano. It passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
And
Mayor.
then we have any adoption of ordinance?
No, we
You
don't.
know?
We don't have. it.
I'd just like,
Motion to
I,
motion to adjourn.
1 second, just want to make one comment before we, I just want to empathize with all of the residents in Englewood Cliffs because boy, do we have a lousy choice on the ballot this year. I ain't voting. I don't know about anyone else, but boy, we have a lousy choice. Thank you.
Okay, any committee report, okay. Okay,
Food clinic, just want the residents to know, it's free. It's October 17th at the community center. The only thing that the seniors would have to do is bring proof of their Medicare Part B. And you have to be 65 years or older. And, anybody who's 3 years of age
Lucia.
or older.
But what do you do there?
you
shot.
get a
Flu
shot.
shot.
That's it.
Yeah,
okay,
you said flu clinic, but it's
yeah,
okay.
we already got the,
The seniors will be accommodated at the senior center to get the flu shot.
We need
I
the
just-
time, right? The time at the community center, I can't remember. Does it ever go down there?
She said
These
4:30.
are only for seniors, right?
She said
Uh,
4:30.
4:30 to
Oh, the
6:30.
17th is not for seniors? Oh, okay. Under. Oh, okay.
Was I called, asking her.
4:30 to 6:30.
4:30 to 6:30 at the community center, 488 Hudson Terrace.
okay,
Only at the community center.
okay. Any other committee? Any
Motion to
committee
adjourn,
report?
Mayor.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Kim and
All in
Simon.
favor?
Okay.
Okay, good night,
Good
everyone.
night, good night. Good night, another wonderful meeting.